The sun beats down mercilessly on the Jos Plateau in northern Nigeria. In a small village, lost among the red earth and acacia trees, a woman leisurely walks from one house to another. She's not a guest. She's not a random traveler. She's a wife. In each of these houses. Here, among the 17,000 members of the Irigwe tribe, a woman can have not one, not two, but 7 husbands at the same time. And it's not a scandal. It's not a violation of traditions. It's the tradition itself, forged over centuries of adaptation to the harsh African reality. Welcome to a world where our familiar notions of marriage are turned upside down. A world where a woman is not just an equal partner, she's the center of the family universe. When survival dictates the laws of love, what makes an entire society create a system that radically differs from its neighboring tribes? The answer lies not in romantic ideas, but in the harsh math of survival. On the Jos Plateau, where the Irigwe have lived for centuries, agriculture requires many hands. There are no tractors here, no modern tools. There's only red earth to cultivate, a harvest to gather, and unpredictable rains on which life depends. One man may be a wonderful farmer, but what if he gets sick during planting season? Another is excellent at animal husbandry, but doesn't understand trade well. A third is a skilled craftsman, but physically weak. But what if you combine their efforts? What if you create a system where everyone contributes to the overall well-being of the family? That's how Irigwe polyandry was born, not as a whim, but as a brilliant solution to the problem of survival. Woman as architect of family well-being. In Irigwe culture, a woman is not a passive participant in the marriage process. She's its chief architect. Imagine a girl reaches adolescence and begins to assess potential partners not from the point of view of romantic feelings, but as a strategist planning the future of her family. One candidate attracts her with his farming skills, another with his ability to trade in the market. A third is known as a reliable herder. Why choose one when each can make a unique contribution to family prosperity? The girl expresses interest in several men at once. The father, as the guardian of family traditions, gives his blessing. The elders of the tribe hold ceremonies that unite this unusual family. And life begins, where everyone knows their place in a complex but harmonious system of relationships. Geography of love, from house to house. The daily life of an Irigwe polyandrous family is organized in a surprisingly practical way. The woman doesn't live with all her husbands under one roof. She circulates between their houses, spending a certain amount of time with each. Monday, at the house of the farmer husband, helping him plan the planting work. Wednesday, at the merchant husband's, participating in the preparation of goods for the market. Friday, at the herder husband's, taking care of the animals. This system allows a woman not only to perform traditional female duties, but also to actively participate in various areas of the family's economic activity. She becomes the link between the different specializations of her husbands. Children born into such a family are considered descendants of the husband with whom the woman lives at the time of conception or birth. This eliminates disputes about inheritance and creates a clear system of paternity in a seemingly complex situation. The economics of mutual support. Irigwe polyandry is first and foremost an economic strategy developed over generations. In an agrarian society where harvests can be unpredictable and natural disasters are frequent, diversifying sources of income becomes a matter of life and death. One husband specializes in growing millet, the region's main crop. Another trades in local markets, exchanging agricultural products for necessary goods. A third is engaged in animal husbandry, providing the family with milk, meat, and hides. A fourth may be a craftsman, a blacksmith, potter, or weaver. When drought destroys the harvest, the family isn't left without means of subsistence. The trader and herder continue to provide income. When disease strikes the livestock, the farmer and craftsman compensate for the losses. This system creates a unique social safety net where risks are distributed among several people rather than concentrated on one person. Solving reproductive challenges. In conditions where infant mortality was high and procreation was critical to family survival, Uruguay polyandry offered an elegant solution to reproductive problems. If one of the husbands suffers from infertility, it doesn't become a tragedy for the whole family. Other husbands can ensure the appearance of offspring. Children are seen as the common wealth of the family, regardless of biological paternity. Moreover, having multiple father figures created multiple models of male behavior and professional skills for the children. A child could learn farming from one father, trade from another, and crafts from a third. Social dynamics and the status of women. Unlike patriarchal systems, where women often have limited rights, Uruguay polyandrous traditions endowed women with significant power and autonomy. The woman had the right to choose which of her husbands to spend time with. She could initiate new marriages if she felt the family needed additional skills or resources. Her opinion was decisive in matters of raising children and running the household. Conflicts between husbands were resolved not through rivalry, but through cooperation under the leadership of the wife. The success of the family depended on the ability of all its members to work as a single team. Unification ceremonies, when many become one family. Wedding ceremonies in Uruguay polyandrous families were complex rituals, symbolizing not just a union between people, but the creation of an economic and social unit. The tribe's elders conducted special ceremonies emphasizing the importance of cooperation and mutual respect. Music and dance accompanied the ceremonies, creating an atmosphere of celebration and unity. Each new husband joining the family underwent acceptance rituals, where he publicly pledged to support not only his wife, but also his co-husbands in their shared endeavors. The role of elders and public oversight. The Uruguay polyandrous system didn't function in a vacuum, but within a carefully regulated social structure. The tribe's elders played a key role in resolving conflicts and maintaining balance in complex family relationships. When disputes arose between co-husbands, the elders acted as mediators, helping to find compromises that strengthened family unity rather than destroying it. Public opinion also served as a regulating factor. Families that functioned harmoniously were respected in the community. Those with constant conflicts faced social pressure to resolve their issues. Comparison with other cultures. Universality of adaptation. Uruguay polyandry isn't a unique phenomenon in human history. Similar systems have developed independently in various parts of the world. In Tibet, fraternal polyandry, where a woman marries brothers from the same family, solved the problem of preserving land within the family. In some parts of India, polyandry helped cope with harsh mountain conditions, where survival required pooling resources. In other African tribes, such as the Maasai, various forms of multiple marriages were practiced as an adaptation to a pastoral lifestyle. These parallels show that polyandry isn't a cultural anomaly, but a rational adaptation to specific ecological and economic conditions. The impact of the colonial era and Christianization. The history of Uruguay polyandry is also a story of the clash between traditional African cultures and external influences. The arrival of the colonial administration and Christian missionaries in the early 20th century radically changed the social landscape of the region. European administrators and missionaries viewed polyandry as a primitive practice, incompatible with civilized marriage norms. Gradually, the process of displacing traditional marriage systems began. In 1968, polyandry was officially banned in Nigeria. This decision resulted not only from external pressure, but also from changes within Irigwe society itself, where many began to see education and modern professions as an alternative to the traditional agricultural lifestyle. A scientific perspective, evolutionary anthropology and polyandry. Modern anthropology views polyandry as one of many ways humans adapt to their environment. Research shows that such systems arise in conditions of limited resources. When resources are scarce, combining the efforts of several men can be more effective in providing for a family. High environmental risks. In regions with unpredictable climates or frequent natural disasters, diversifying income sources becomes critical. Specialized economies. When different economic niches require different skills, polyandry can maximize the efficiency of the family's economic unit. Women's networks and social support. Polyandrous systems often create unique forms of female solidarity. In Irigwe culture, women with multiple husbands formed networks of mutual support, sharing experiences in managing complex family relationships. Older women became mentors to younger ones, teaching them the art of balancing between different husbands and maximizing each one's contribution to the family's well-being. These women's networks also served as a system of social control, helping to resolve conflicts and maintain standards of behavior in polyandrous families. Psychological aspects. Love in polyandrous conditions. Western researchers often ask the question, but what about love? Can a woman love several men equally? The Irigwe answer to this question is complex and multifaceted. In their culture, love isn't seen as an exclusive emotion directed at one person. Rather, it's a network of different types of attachment and mutual care. A woman may have deep respect for one husband's skills, tenderness for another's kindness, and admiration for a third's strength. Each relationship has its own unique dynamic, but they're all united by a common goal: the well-being of the family. Children in polyandrous families, multiple fatherhood. Raising children in Irigwe polyandrous families created a unique social environment. Children had access to multiple male role models, each of whom taught them different skills and perspectives. A boy could learn agriculture from one father, trade from another, and crafts from a third. Girls received diverse ideas about the qualities husbands should possess. The system of multiple fatherhood also provided children with greater emotional and material security. If one of the fathers died or became unable to care for the family, the other fathers assumed additional responsibilities. The economic mathematics of polyandry. From a purely economic point of view, Irigwe polyandry represented a complex system of risk distribution and resource maximization. Researchers have calculated that in an agrarian society, a family with several specialized husbands could be 40 to 60% more resilient to economic shocks than a monogamous family. Diversification of income sources. More efficient use of labor resources. Reduction of transaction costs in the exchange of goods and services. Creation of an intra-family social insurance system. Modern echoes. Polyandry in the 21st century. Although traditional Irigwe polyandry officially ceased to exist in 1968, its influence continues to be felt in modern society. Some researchers note that informal polyandrous relationships can be observed in urban areas of Nigeria, where women maintain a series of relationships with different men, each of whom contributes differently to her well-being. In other parts of Africa, the debate over the legalization of polyandry continues. In 2021, the government of South Africa considered a proposal to legalize polyandry alongside the already existing polygyny. Lessons for the modern world. Adaptability of human relationships. The history of Uruguay polyandry offers the modern world important lessons about the flexibility and adaptability of human social systems. In an era when traditional forms of family are undergoing transformations, the Uruguay experience shows that alternative marriage systems can be not only viable but also highly effective in certain conditions. The principles underlying polyandry, cooperation instead of competition, diversification of risks, mutual support, remain relevant for addressing contemporary challenges. Anthropological heritage, documenting disappearing traditions. Today, Uruguay polyandry exists mainly in the memory of elders and in the archives of anthropologists. The last carriers of this tradition are leaving, taking with them detailed knowledge of how this complex social system functioned. Modern researchers are working to document this knowledge, understanding that it represents a unique example of human adaptability and social innovation. These studies show that the human capacity to create diverse family and social structures is much broader than is commonly believed in modern Western society. Conclusion: wisdom of ancestors in a modern context. The story of the Uruguay tribe is not just an ethnographic curiosity. It is evidence of the amazing ability of human communities to create innovative solutions to complex life challenges. In a world where climate change, economic instability, and social transformations require new approaches to organizing human relationships, the experience of polyandrous cultures offers valuable lessons about the importance of cooperation, flexibility, and mutual support. The red earth of the Jos Plateau no longer sees women moving from house to house of their husbands. But the memory of this amazing social innovation lives on, reminding us that human relationships can take the most unexpected and, at the same time, deeply rational forms. In the end, the Uruguay story is about how love, respect, and practical wisdom can come together to create a system that serves not the egos of individuals, but the well-being of the entire community. And perhaps that is the main lesson that this ancient African tradition can give to the modern world.